A Canada Literature, Publisher, Reading, and Book Guide. Chapter 1. Canadian Literary. Canadian Literature Websites. Try dmoz-odp.org for more websites. collectionscanada.gc.ca/literary archives/027011-200-e.html, literary manuscripts, a guide to the literary fonds at the National Library of Canada, introducing unpublished resources in the field of Canadian literature. freedomtoriad.ca, Freedom to Read, encourages Canadians to think about and reaffirm their commitment to intellectual freedom. Celebrating freedom of expression. library.vicu.utoronto.ca/guide/canlit.htm, Guide to Canadian literature materials, includes bibliographies, critical works, and handbooks. Canadian literary magazines. cmpia.ca, Canadian magazine publishers. genuinecanadianmagazines.ca. reviewcanada.ca. antigonishReview.com, Nova Scotia. anvilpress.com/subterrane. artsatlantic.com. brickmag.com. canadianpoetry.ca. capcollege.bc.ca/department/tcr. cdnlit.ubc.ca. challengeinternal20m.com. contemporarverse2.ca. cwj.ca, Canadian Writers' Journal. cyberus.ca/arcpoetry. dal.ca/dalrev. danforthreview.com. descant.on.ca. descant.on.ca. english.ucalgary.ca/dandelion. event.douglas.bc.ca. fillingsstation.ca. geist.com, Canadian Culture. grainmagazine.ca. lib.unb.ca text/fiddlehead. lib.unb.ca text/scl, Studies in Canadian Literature. lib.unb.ca/text/fiddlehead. likenjournal.ca. magomania.com. malahatreview.ca. malahatreview.ca. neo-opsis.ca, Science Fiction. newquarterly.uwaterloo.ca. nfg.ca. onspec.ca. othervoices.ab.ca. pagaitika.com. paperplates.org. prairiefire.mb.ca. prism.arts.ubc.ca. queensu.ca/quarterly. readersdigest.ca. roommagazine.com. saturdaynight.ca. scrivenercreativereview.org. sfu.ca/westcoastline. storytellermagazine.com. tacob.org/winnerscircle.htm. teattlecreekmag.com. thecoast.ns.ca, Halifax Culture. themysteryreview.com. thismagazine.ca, theismag.org. umanitoba.ca/publications/mosaic. uvic.ca/malahat. yourq.ca/existere. yourq.ca/public. Quill Choir. Number 210. 70 The Esplanade. Toronto, on M5E1R2. 416-360-0044. Fax, 416-955-0794. quillandechoir.com. Magazine for the Canadian book biz. Antigonish Review. St. Francis Xavier University. Pop 5000. Antigonish, NS, B2G2W5. 902-867-3962. B&A New Fiction. Blood and Aphorisms. Pop 702, STA. P. Toronto, on M582Y4. 416-535-1233. Fax, 416 535. 1233. io.org/blood. Books in Canada. 50 St. Clair Ave. 4th floor. Toronto, on M4T1M9. 416-924-2777. Fax, 416-924-8682. Inscroll.com. Border Crossings. Number 500. 70 Arthur St. Winnipeg, MBR3BIG7. 204, 94, 5778. Fax, 204-949-0793. Canadian Fiction Magazine. Pub 1061. 240 King St. East. Kingston, on, K7L4Y5. 613-548-8429, EXT16. Fax, 613-548-1556. Canadian Literature. University of British Columbia. 1855 West Mall. Number 167. Vancouver, BC V6TIZ2. 604-822-2780. Fax, 604-822-5504. cdnlit.ubc.ca. The Capilano Review. 2055 Purcell Way. N. Vancouver, BC V7J3H5. 604-984-1712. Fax, 604-990-7837. capcollege.bc.ca/department/trc. Dalhousie Review. Dalhousie University. Halifax, N8B3H3J5. 902-494-2541. Fax, 902-494-3561. dal.ca/Dalhousie Review. Descant. Pub 314, STA. P. Toronto, on M5S2S8. 416-593-2557. Fax, 416-593-9362. Descant.on.ca. Essays on Canadian Writing. Number 200. 2120 Queen St. East. Toronto, on M4E1E2. 416-694-3348. Fax, 416-698-9906. ecw.ca. Event, the Douglas College Review. Douglas College. Pog 2503. New Westminster, BC V3L5B2. 604-527-5293. Fax, 604-527-5095. Exile. Pub 67, STA. B. Toronto, on M5T2CO. 416-969-8877. Fax 416-969-9556. The Fiddlehead. Campus House. University of New Brunswick. Pub 4400. Fredericton, NB, E3B5A3. 506-453-3501. Fax, 506-453-5069. Grain. Pub 1154. Regina, 8K, S4P3B4. 306-244-2828. Fax, 306-244-0255. skWriter.com. Grainmagazine.ca. Malahat Review. University of Victoria. Pub 1700. Victoria, BC V8W2Y2. 250-721-8524. web.uvic.ca/Malahat. malahatreview.ca. Matrix. Number 502. 1400, Boulevard de Maisonneuve W. Montreal, QCH3G1M8. 514-848-2344. Fax 514-848-4501. The Mystery Review. POB 233. Colborne, on Cock 1S0. 613-475-4440. Fax, 613-475-3400. inlineonline.com/mystery. The New Quarterly. University of Waterloo. English Language Proficiency Program. PA 2082. Waterloo, on N2L3G1. 519-885-1211, extension 2837. On spec. POB 4727. Edmonton, epub, T65G6. 780-413-0215. Fax, 780-413-1538. onspec.ca. Parachute. 4060, Bull. Saint Laurent. Number 501. Montreal, QCH2W1Y9. 514-842-9805. Fax, 514-287-7146. Poetry Canada. POB 1061. Kingston, on K7L4Y5. 613-548-8429. Fax, 613-548-1556. Prairie Fire. Number 423. 100 Arthur St. Winnipeg, MB, R3B1H3. 204-943-9066. Fax, 204-942-1555. Prism International. Department of Creative Writing. University of British Columbia. Number E462. 1866 Main Mall. Vancouver, BC V6T1Z1. 604-822-2514. Fax, 604-822-3616. arts.ubc.ca/prism. Quarry. POB 1061. Kingston, on K7L4Y5. 613-548-8429. Fax, 613-548-1556. Queen's Quarterly. Queen's University. Kingston, on K7L3N6. 613-533-2667. Fax, 613-545-6822. info.queensu.ca/quarterly. Canada Women's Literature websites. dmoz-odp.org/arts/literature/world_Canadian/women%(27s_writing). Atwood, Margaret. Avison, Margaret. Beresford Howe, Constance. Borson, Rue. Bowering, Marilyn. Butala, Sharon. Crozier, Lorna. Eklund, Kim. Gallant, Mavis. Kagawa, Joy. Lau, Evelyn. Lawrence, Margaret. Livesey, Dorothy. Marlatt, Daphne. Michaels, Anne. Montgomery, L.M. Moody, Susanna. Monroe, Alice. Shields, Carol. Urquhart, Jane. Webb, Phyllis. Wilson, Ethel. Wiseman, Adele. Canadian Literature author websites. Try dmoz-odp.org/arts. Click by letter. Subcategories: humor, mystery, nonfiction, novelists, playwrights, romance, science fiction, short story. Young adult. bibliofiles.ca/biblio_index.cfm, bibliofiles, bibliographical information on the editions, impressions, and variants of selected Canadian authors. canadian-writers.athabasca.u.ca, Canadian writers, articles and author profiles from Athabasca University. ceauthors.com, Canadian e-authors, organization created to promote Canadian authors who have published electronically. Eligibility requirements, profiles, e-reader reviews, and pictures from across the country. quintessentialwriters.com, the quintessential writers group of the Sunshine Coast, profiles and book information on Betty Keller, Gwendolyn Southin, Maureen Foss, Rosella Leslie, and Eileen Williston. writerscafe.ca, the Writers Cafe, weblogs and audio interviews with Canadian writers and links to Canadian publishers. writersunion.ca/member-profiles, the Writers Union of Canada membership pages, an alphabetical list of members of the Writers Union of Canada. Canadian children's literature websites. collectionscanada.ca/childrenliterature/index-e.html, children's literature service. collectionscanada.ca/read-up-on-it/index-e.html, read up on it. collectionscanada.ca/childrenliterature/0050001-202-e.html, bibliographies. collectionscanada.ca/childrenliterature/0050001-203-e.html, exhibitions. collectionscanada.ca/childrenliterature/0050001-300-e.html, authors and illustrators. bookcentre.ca, Canadian Children's Book Centre, Toronto. slays.ubc.ca/saltman/ccib/home.html, Canadian Children's Illustrated Books. ccl.uwinnipeg.ca, Canadian Children's Literature. nlc-bnc.ca/6/2/index-e.html, National Library of Canada Canadian Children's Literature Service. nlc-bnc.ca/6/2/s2-201-e.html, Canadian Children's Literature, Authors and Illustrators. nlc-bnc.ca/6/2/s2-205-e.html, Canadian Children's Literature, Award-winning books 1992 to the present. nlc-bnc.ca/read-up-on-it/index-e.html, read up on it program. Chapter 2. Canadian Publishers. Canadian Publisher Guide. ca.yahoo.com/regional/countries/canada/business_and_economy/companies/books. Listing ca.com/media/publishing-book-television.com. cbabook.org. editors.ca. harbour.sfu.ca/ccsb/citation/index.htm, citation, Canada. simpiatico.ca/ccbc, Canadian Children's Book Centre. lpg.ca, Literary Press Group of Canada. nlc-bnc.ca/isbndir-bin/search/L=0, Canadian Publishers. pubcouncil.ca, Canadian Publishers Council. publishers.ca, Association of Canadian Publishers. schoolnet.ca/vp/cesn, Canadian Electronic Scholarly Network, CESN. Association of Canadian Publishers. 161 Eglinton Avenue East. Number 702. Toronto, on M4PIJ5. 416-487-6116. Fax, 416-487-8815. info@kenbook.org. publishers.ca. kenbook.org. Association of Canadian University Presses. 10 St. Mary Street. Toronto, on M4Y2W8. 416-978-2239. Fax, 416-978-4738. Canadian Library Association. 200 Elgin St. Number 602. Ottawa, on K2P1L5. 613-232-9625. Fax, 613-563-9895. CLA.ca. Specific Canadian Publishers. freepress.ca. 1750nline.com. abbeyfieldpublishers.com. acornpresscanada.com. advocateprinting.com. agespublications.com. altamirapress.com. altitudepublishing.com. anansi.ca, literary. anacpress.com. ansoncartwright.com. anvilpress.com, literary. arian.ca. arsenalpulp.com. artexte.ca. aviationpublishers.com. backroadmapbooks.com. barebonesbooks.com. batlastreetbooks.kamloops.net. bcity.com/jesperson, Newfoundland Books. bdd.ca, Doubleday. biblesociety.ca. borealispress.com. bostonmillspress.com, history, gift books. breakwater.nf.net. breakwaterbooks.com. breakwaterbooks.wordpress.com. brickbooks.ca. broadviewpress.com. brokenjaw.com. btlbooks.com, alternative type books. bengalobooks.com. caitlin-press.com. calawind.com. capebretonbooks.com. seaptis.com. carswell.com, legal, business. cdgbooks.com. chbooks.com. chemtech.org, chemistry books. codazat.com. colombo.ca. companiescoming.com. cormorant.ca. countsinfo.com. crabtreebooks.com. cultureconcepts.ca. dcd.ca, dance collection. dundon.com. ecwpress.com. edgewebsite.com, science fiction. edimag.com. edu.uwo.ca/althousepress. eharlequin.com, romance. emp.on.ca. ergobooks.com. etikapress.com, Halifax. xilebooks.web.com. fernwood.ca. fernwoodbooks.ca. fireflybooks.com. fisherhouse.com. flankorpress.com. forma.ca. frederickharris.com. friesens.ca. gagelearning.com. gasparorpress.blogspot.com. gasparo.com. genpub.com. gooselane.com. grannybates.com. groundwoodbooks.com. handbook.com, computer and internet books. harborpublishing.com. harcourtcanada.com. harpercanada.com. heritagehouse.ca. hi/inkspot/cdn.html. hiddenbrookpress.com. idioms.ca. inclusion.com. inscapepublications.com. ippbooks.com. irwinpub.com. jgbooks.com. joinhands.com. joycenter.on.ca. kenjiseng.com. keyporter.com. kidscanpress.com. kindredproductions.com. librarybound.com. libris.ca/refpress, reference press. life.ca, alternative press. littlebrick.com. logik.com, French. lonapinepublishing.com, recreation, natural history. lorimer.ca. Linksimages.com, History. MadisonPressBooks.com. Mandagroup.com. MasturityHlead.com. MaxPages.com/Beetlejuice. McClelland.com. McGrawhill.ca. McClurdeal.com. Micromedia.on.ca. Movingto.com. mph.org, Herald Press. mqup.ca, 877-864-8477, McGill Queen's University Press. mun.ca/Iser, Newfoundland Books. mwandr.com. nelson.com. newestpress.com. newsociety.com, Echo New Age type books. newstarbooks.com. newworldpublishing.com. nfbooks.com. nimbus.ca. norbury.com, mainstream. enovalis.ca. orcabook.com. originofbooks.com, British, mainstream. owl.on.ca, children's books. pauline.com. pearson.ca. pearsonptr.ca. pemmican.mb.ca. penguin.ca. phcanada.com. playwrightscanada.com. pokeweed.com. pottersfieldpress.com. powerengbooks.com, Power Engineering Books. prairiefire.mb.ca. pressgang.bc.ca, feminist. productivepublications.ca. puc.ca, Playwrights Canada Press. puzzlesbyshar.com. raincoast.com. randomhouse.ca. readings.org, Festival of Authors. oureditorpress.com. readmore.com, textbooks for school. resudocs.net/books. rippleeffectpress.com. rmbooks.com, Rocky Mountain Books. ronsdalepress.com, literary. rosewaypublishing.com. sara-jordan.com. saundersbook.ca. scdiet.org. schhafler.com. scholastic.ca. shard.com. shorelinepress.ca. signatoure-editons.com. escarwood.com. skyfoot-technical.nu. soundanvision.com, music books. stewarthousepub.com. successatschool.com. summit-ed.com. sun-scape.com. simpiatico.ca/York Press, scholarly, reference. tmurondetselig.com. themysteryreview.com. thompsonbooks.com. thompsonbooks.com, educational books. total.net/bookline, literary. tiralco.com. transmedia95.com. trifolium.books.com. turnerbooks.com. turnstonepress.com, literary. ualberta.ca/uap. ucan.org/ucph, United Church Publishing. unb.ca/bookstore. uofcapress.com, U of Calgary Press. uopress.uottawa.ca, University of Ottawa Press. uphere.ca. utpress.utoronto.ca, 800-565-9523. uwo.ca/edu/press. vehiculepress.com. wallbooks.com, college textbooks. wcpar.com. wellnet.ca/creativebound, self-help, new age. whitecap.ca, coffee table books. wiley.com. wilsonloeffler.com. Aardvark Enterprises. 204 Millbank Drive Southwest, Calgary, UB T2Y2H9. 403-256-4639. Books for Writers. Abbeyfield Publishers. 1. Benvenuto Place. Number 103. Toronto, on M3V2L1. 416-925-6458. Fax, 416-925-4165. Abbeyfieldpublishers.com. Non-fiction. ABC Publishing. Anglican Book Centre. 80 Hayden Street. Toronto, on M4Y3G2. 416-924-9192. Fax, 416-968-7983. abcpublishing.com. Religious. Acorn Press. POG 22024. Charlottetown, PECIAIYI. 902-892-8151. 902-566-0956. Fax, 902-566-0756. acornpresscanada.com. Local culture. Adventure Book Publishers. Dirksen Enterprises Ltd. Number 712. 3545 32nd Ave NE. Calgary, UBTIY3M1. 403-285-6844. Adventures at puzzlesbychar.com. puzzlesbychar.com. Alfred A. Knopf, Canada. Toronto Street. Number 300. Toronto, on M5C2V6. 416-364-4449. Fax, 416-364-6863. randomhouse.ca. Altitude Publishing 1500 Railway Ave. Kenmore, UBT1WLP6, 403, 678-6888 FAX, 403-678-6951. Anik Press. 1 Patricia Avenue. Willowdale, on M2M1H9. 416-221-4802. Fax, 416-221-8400. anikpress.com. Children's Literature. Anvil Press. POB 3008, MPO. Vancouver, BC V6B3X5. 604-876-8710. Fax, 604-879-2667. subtur@portal.ca. anvilpress.com. All genres. Apple Press Publishing. 810 Landres Court. Nanarket, on L3XIM6. 905-853-7979. Fax, 905-853-1175. applepressbooks.com. Social Studies Books for Students. Arbiter Ring Publishing. 121 Osborne Street. Number 201E. Winnipeg, MBR3L1Y4. 204-942-7058. Fax, 204-944-9198. info@arbitering.com. arteitering.com. Cultural, Political. Arsenal Pulp Press. 1014 Homer Street. Number 103. Vancouver, BC V6B2W9. 604-687-4233. Fax, 604-687-4283. contact@arsenalpulp.com. arsenalpulp.com. Variety. Art Gallery of Greater Victoria. 1040 Moss Street, Victoria, BC V8V4P1. 250-384-4171. Fax, 250-361-3995. agv.bc.ca. Art. Banff Centre Press. POG 1020. 107 Tunnel Mountain Drive. Banff, UBTIL 1H5. 403-762-7532. Fax 403-762-6699. Press at banffcentre.ca. banffcentre.ca/press. Art, Culture and Literature. Bantam Books Canada, Random House. 4th floor. 105, Bond St. Toronto, on M5B1Y3. 416-340-0777. Fax 416-340-1069. randomhouse.com. Battered Silicon Dispatch Box. POG 204. Shelburne, on Lawn ISO. Fax 519-925-3482. gav@bmts.com. bmts.com. Detective Fiction. Beachholm Publishers. Number 226. 2040 12th Avenue. Vancouver, BC V6J2G2. 604-733-4868. Fax 604-733-4860. beachholm.bc.ca. Variety. Between the Lines. 720 Bathurst St. Number 404. Toronto, on M5S2R4. 416-535-9914. Fax 416-535-1484. btlbooks@web.net. btlbooks.com. Canadian History, Economics, Culture, Politics. Big Splash Books. 549 Merkel Place. Halifax, NSB 3K2H7. 902-454-0134. Fax 902-654-2353. bigsplashbooks.com. Variety, Environmental, Health. Black Moss Press. 2450 Byng Road. Windsor, on N8W38. Fax 519-253-7809. blackmosspress.com. Variety. Blizzard Publishing. 73 Furby St. Winnipeg, MBR3C282. 204-775-2923. Fax 204-775-2947. info@blizzard.tflb.ca. blizzard.tflb.ca. Borealis/Tecumseh Presses. 10 Bloomingdale St. Ottawa on K2C4A4. 613-798-9299. Fax 613-829-7783. borealispress.com. Boston Mills Press. Stoddard Publishing. 132 Main St. Aaron, on Knob ITO. 519-833-2407. Fax 519-833-2195. books@bostonmillspress.com. bostonmillspress.com. History, Outdoors. Breakwater Books. 100 Water St. POG 2188. St. John's, NFA1C6E6. 709-722-6680. Fax 709-753-0708. breakwater.nl.net. NF Culture. Brick Books. 431 Bowler Road. POG 20081. London on N6K4G6. 519-657-8579. brickbooks.ca. Poetry. Broadview Press. 71 Princess St. POG 1243. Peterborough on K9J7H5. 705-743-8990. Fax 705-743-8353. Customer service at broadviewpress.com. broadviewpress.com. Humanities. Broken Jaw Press. epub 596, STN. A. Fredericton NBE 3B5A6. 506 454 5127. Fax 506 454 5127. BrokenJaw.com Variety. Caitlin Press. epub 2387. Prince George, BC V2 and 2S6. 250-964-4953. Fax, 604-648-9992. CaitlinPress.com. BC Authors. Canadian Scholars Press. 180 Bloor Street West. Number 801. Toronto, on M5S2V6. 416-929-2774. Fax, 416-929-1926. A Prince at csbi.org. csbi.org. Scholarly Books. Canadian Circumpolar Institute, CCI, Press. University of Alberta. 8625 112th Street. Number 308. Campus Tower. Edmonton, UB T6EOHI. 780-492-4512. Fax, 780-492-1153. CCINST at ualberta.ca. ualberta.ca/CCINST. Scholarly works on Northern Polar themes. Canadian Museum of Civilization. 100 Laurier Street. epub 3100, STA. B. Gatineau, QCJS14H2. 819-776-8394. Fax, 819-776-8393. Civilization.ca. Canadian History, Culture. Canadian Library Association. 200 Elgin St. Number 602. Ottawa, on K2P1L5. 613-232-9625. Fax, 613-563-9895. E. Morton at cla.ca. cla.amlibs.ca. cla.ca. Canadian Plains Research Centre. University of Regina. Regina, Saskatchewan S4S082. 306-585-4795. Fax, 306-585-4699. Scholarly Books. Cactus Press. 1600 Steeles Avenue West. Number 14. Concord, on L4K 4 square meters. 416-736-5537. Fax, 416-736-5793. Info at captis.com. captis.com. Textbooks, non-fiction. Carswell Thompson. Professional Publishing. The Thompson Corp. 1 Corporate Plaza. 2075 Kennedy Road. Scarborough, on MIT 3v4. 416-298-5024. Fax, 416-298-5094. Carswell.com. Cha Press. I7YORK Street. Ottawa, on Kin 9J6. 613, 248,005. Fax, 613-241-5055. Chapri SSS at cha.ca. cha.ca/publishing. Publisher for the Canadian Healthcare Association, Healthcare System Books. Charlton Press. 2040 Yonge St. No. 208. Toronto, on M4S1Z9. Fax, 416-488-4656. Chemtech Publishing. 38 Earswick Drive. Toronto Scarborough, on M1E1C6. 416-265-2603. Fax, 416-265-1399. chemtech@interlog.com. chemtech.org. Chestnut Publishing Group. 4005 Bayview Avenue. Number 610. Toronto, on M2M3Z9. 416-224-5824. Fax, 416-486-4752. chestnutpublishing.com. Children's textbooks for school, English as a second language. Coach House Books. 401 Huron Street, Toronto, CAM5S2G5. 416-979-2217. Fax, 416-977-1158. Mail at chbooks.com. chbooks.com. Colombo Company. 42 Del Park Avenue, Toronto, on M6B2T6. 416-782-6853. Fax, 416-782-0285. Colombo.ca. Cordillera Books. 8415 Granville Street, Pub 46. Vancouver, BC V6P4Z9. 604-261-1695. Fax, 604-266-4469. richbook@ca.inter.net. Maritime History, Fishing Industry Books. Cormorant Books. 215 Spadina Avenue. Number 230. Toronto, on M5T2C7. 416-929-4957. Fax, 416-929-3596. Cormorant Books Inc. at bellnet.ca. cormorantbooks.com. Canadian Culture. Coteau Books. 2206 Dudney Avenue. Number 401. Regina, SKS4RIH3. 306-777-0170. Fax, 306-522-5152. coteau@coteaubooks.com. coteaubooks.com. Variety. Crabtree Publishing Co. 612 Welland Avenue, St. Catharines, on L2M5V6. 905-682-5221. Fax, 905-682-7166. Editor at crabtreebooks.com. crabtreebooks.com. Children's. Creative Bound International. Box 424. Carp, on Koa Ilo. 613-831-3641. 800-287-8610. Fax, 613-831-3643. creativebound.com. Business. Creative Book Publishing. POB 8660. St. John's, NL-IB 317. 709-722-8500. Fax, 709-579-7745. Books at rb.nl.ca. nfbooks.com. Creekstone Press. Driftwood Road, Smithers, BC V0J2N7. 250-847-3663. Fax, 250-847-3663. Creekstone@bulkley.net. creekstonepress.com. Local Culture. Cumulus Press. POB 5205, STA. B. Montreal, QCH3B4B5. 514-522-5404. Cumulus@cumuluspress.com. cumuluspress.com. Variety. DC Books. POB 662. 950 Decane. Ville Saint Laurent, QCH4L4V9. 843-8130. Fax, 514-939-0569. DC Books at videotron.ca. Literary. Despub, David E. Scott Publishing. 2340B Clifton Street. Allenbug, on Los LA 0. 905-680-7884. 866-471-4123. Fax, 905-680-7884. Daypub at Niagara.com. Lighthearted Books. Ditzelig Enterprises. 1220 Kensington Road Northwest. Number 210. Calgary, UB T2 and 3P5. 403-283-0900. Fax, 403-283-6947. Tamaron at telesplanet.net. tamaron.selig.com. Academic, Humanities. Doubleday Canada. 1 Toronto Street. Number 300. Toronto, on M5C2V6. 416-364-4449. Fax, 416-957-1587. randomhouse.ca. Variety. Douglas McIntyre Publishing Group. 2323 Quebec Street. Number 201. Vancouver, BC V5T4S7. 604-254-7191. Fax, 604-254-9099. mdouglasmcintyre.com. douglas-mcintyre.com. Variety. Dreamcatcher Publishing. 10 Prince William Street. St. John, NBE2L2B2. 06-632-4008. Fax, 06-632-4009. depubfundy.net. dreamcatcher.nb.ca. Atlantic Canadian Writers. Duval House Publishing. 18228 102nd Avenue. Edmonton, UB T5SIS 7. 780-488-1390. 800-267-6187. Fax, 780-482-7213. Duvalhouse at duvalhouse.com. duvalhouse.com. Educational. ECW Press. 2120 Queen Street East. Number 200. Toronto, on M4E1E2. 416-694-3348. Fax, 416-698-9906. Info at ecwpress.com. ecwpress.com. Variety. Edge Science Fiction Fantasy Publishing. POG 1714. Calgary, UB T2P2L7. 403-254-0160. Fax, 403-254-0456. edgewebsite.com. Science Fiction and Fantasy. Editions Logicase/Logical Publishing. POG Box 10, Station D. Montreal, QCH3K3B9. 514-933-2225. Fax, 514-933-8823. logicay@chem.org. logicay.com. Ecstasis Editions. POG 8474, Main Postal Outlet. Victoria, BC V8W3S1. 250-361-9941. Fax, 250-385-3378. ekstasis at islandnet.com. ekstasiseditions.com. Literary. Exile Editions. POB 67, STN. B. Toronto on M5T2CO. 416-969-8877. Fax, 416-969-9556. FP. Hendricks Publishing. 4806-53 ST. Stettler, UBTOC2L2. 403-742-6483. Sports/Health Books. Fernwood Publishing. 8422 St. Margaret's Bay Road. Site 2A, Box 5. Blackpoint, NSB 0J EBO. 902-857-1388. Fax, 902-857-1328. info@fernwoodbooks.ca. fernwoodbooks.ca. Social Sciences. Fifth House Publishers. 1800 4th Street Southwest. Number 111. Calgary, UBT2S2S5. 403-571-5232. Fax, 403-571-5235. Fitzhenry.ca. Variety, Non-Fiction. Firefly Books. 66 Leek Crescent, Richmond Hill, on L4BIHI. 416-499-8412. Fax, 416-499-8313. Service@fireflybooks.com. fireflybooks.com. How to Books. Fitzhenry Whiteside Ltd. Sharon Fitzhenry. President and Publisher. 195 Allstate Parkway. Markham on L3R48. 905-477-9700. Fax, 905-477-9179. Formac Publishing Company. 5502 Atlantic Street. Halifax, NSB 3H1G4. 902-421-7022. Fax, 902-425-0166. eve@formac.ca. formac.ca. Children's. Garamond Press. 63 Mahogany Court. Aurora, on L4G6M8. 905-841-1460. Fax, 905-841-3031. Garamond@web.ca. garamond.ca. Academic. Gaspereau Press. iChurch Avenue, Kentville, NSB 4N2M7. 902-678-6002. Fax, 902-678-7845. info@gaspereau.c0m. gaspereau.com. Literary, Creative Non-Fiction. General Store Publishing House. O'Brien Road. Pub 415. Renfrew, on K7V4. 613-432-7697. 800-465-6072. Fax, 613-432-7184. Publisher@gsbh.com. gsbh.com. Variety. Goose Lane Editions. 469 King Street. Fredericton, NBE3BIE5. 506-450-4251. Fax, 506-459-4991. gooselane.com. Granville Island Publishing. 166 Duranlo. Number 212. Vancouver, BC V6H3S4. 604-688-0320. 877-688-0320. Fax, 604-688-0132. info@granvilleislandpublishing.com. granvilleislandpublishing.com. Publishes books financed by the author, Vanity Publishing. Great Plains Publications. 70 Arthur Street. Number 420. Winnipeg, MBR3B1G7. 204-475-69 6799. Fax, 204-475-0138. Info greatplains.mb.ca. greatplains.mb.ca. Local culture. Greystone Books. 2323 Quebec Street. Number 201. Vancouver, BC V5T4S7. greystonebooks.ca. Groundwood Books. 720 Bathurst Street. Number 500. Toronto, on M5S2R4. 416-537-2501. Fax, 416-537-4647. Genmail@groundwooddm.com. groundwoodbooks.com. Guernica Editions. epub 117, STN. P. Toronto, on M5S2S6. 416-658-9888. Fax, 416-657-8885. guernicadetines@cs.com. guernicadetines.com. HB. Fenn and Company Ltd. 34 Nixon Road. Bolton, on L71W2. hbfen.com. Hancock House Publishers Ltd. 19313 Avenue. Surrey, BC V3S9R9. 604-538-1114. Fax, 604-538-2262. promo@hancockhouse.com. hancockhouse.com. Local culture. Harbor Publishing. POG 219. Madeira Park, BC Vaughan 2HO. 604-883-2730. Fax, 604-883-9451. info@harborpublishing.com. harborpublishing.com. Regional Nonfiction. Harlequin Enterprises. 225 Duncan Mill Road. Don Mills, on M3B3K9. 416-445-5860. Fax, 416-445-8655. harlequin.ca. eharlequin.com. romance.net. myrabooks.com. redresssync.com. luna-books.com. steeplehill.com. Romance. HarperCollins Publishers. 2 Bloor Street East. 20th floor. Toronto, on M4W1A8. 416-975-9334. Fax, 416-975-5223. harpercanada.com. Variety. Hartley Marks. 3661 Broadway. Vancouver, BC V6R2B8. 604-739-1771. Fax, 604-738-1913. Heritage House Publishing Co. Ltd. 3555 Outrigger Road. Number 301. Nanoose Bay, BC V9P9K1. 250-468-5328. Fax, 250-468-5318. Publisher@heritagehouse.ca. heritagehouse.ca. Regional Culture. Highway Bookshop. RR. Number 1. Cobalt, on P0JTCO. 705-679-8375. Fax, 705-679-8511. Bookshop@nt.net. abebooks.com/home/highwaybooks. Local Culture. Horstal Shabart Publishers Ltd. 623-425 Simcoe St. Victoria, BC V8V4T3. Fax, 250-360-0829. Western Canada and Nautical Subjects. House of Anansi Press. 110 Spadina Avenue, Toronto, on M5V2K4. 416-363-4343. Fax, 416-363-1017. info@anansi.ca. anansi.ca. Literary. Hushland House Publishing. 36 North Line Road, Toronto, on M4B3E2. 416-285-6100. Fax, 416-285-1777. Hushland.com. Distributor for self-published books. Hyperion Press Limited. Wales Avenue, Winnipeg, MBR2M2S9. 204-256-9204. Fax, 204-255-7845. tomos@mts.net. Craft, How to Books. Insomniac Press. 192 Spadina Avenue, number 403. Toronto, on M5T2C2. 416-504-6270. Fax, 416-504-931.3. insomniacpress.com. Irwin Publishing. 325 Humber College Boulevard, Toronto, on M9W7C3. 416-798-0424. Fax, 416-798-1384. irwin-pub.com. Iser Books. Faculty of Arts Publications, Institute of Social and Economic Research. Memorial University of Newfoundland. St. John's, NFAIC 5S7. 709, 3-7474. Fax, 709-737-7560. iser-books@mun.ca. mun.ca/iser. Newfoundland Social and Economic Development. Island Studies Press. Institute of Island Studies. University of Prince Edward Island. Charlottetown, PECIA 4P3. 1-902-566-0956. Fax, 902-566-0756. upei.ca. islandstudies.com. Local Culture. J. Gordon Shillingford Publishing. POB 86, RPO. Winnipeg, MBR3M3S3. 204-779-6967. Fax, 204-779-6970. jgshill@allstream.net. Variety. James Lorimer CO. 35 Britain St. Toronto, on M5ALR7. 416-362-4762. Fax, 416-362-3939. James Lorimer Co. 35 Britain St. Toronto, on M5A1R7. 416-362-4762. Fax, 416-362-3939. Lorimer.ca. Canadian Culture. Jesperson Publishing. 100 Water Street, 3rd floor. POB 2188. St. John's, NLA 6E6. 709-757-2216. Fax, 709-753-0708. info@jespersonpublishing.nl.net. jespersonpublishing.nl.net. Newfoundland and Labrador Culture. Kegdwans Press. Cape Croker First Nation. RR. Number 5. Weaton, on No 2TO. 519-371-1434. Fax, 519-371-5011. info@kegdwans.com. kegdwans.com. Indigenous Writers. Key Porter Books. 70 The Esplanade. Toronto, on M5E1R2. 416-862-7777. Fax, 416-862-2304. info@keyporter.com. keyporter.com. Non-fiction. Kidskin Press. 29 Birch Avenue. Toronto, on M4V1E2. 416-925-5437. Fax, 416-960-5437. info@kidscan.com. kidscanpress.com. Children's books. Cunity Publishers. 75 First Street. Number 128. Orangeville, on L9W5B6. cunity.com. Lobster Press 2200. 1250 Bull. René Levesque W. Montreal, QCH3B4W8. 514-989-3121. Fax, 514-989-3168. lobsterpress.com. Lone Pine Publishing. 10426 81st Avenue. Number 206. Edmonton, UB T6E1X5. 403-433-9333. Fax, 403-433-9646. lonepinepublishing.com. Outdoor, Gardening, History. Lost Moose/The Yukon Publishers. 58 Cluane Crescent. Whitehorse, YTYA 3G7. 867-668-5076. elmusicnet.ca. Books about the North. Links Images, Inc. 104 Scholard St. Toronto, on M5R1G2416-925-8422. Fax, 925-952-8352. info@linksimages.com. linksimages.com. Canadian History, Travel. McFarlane, Walter Ross. 37A Hazelton Ave. Toronto on M5R2E3. 416-924-7595. Fax, 416-924-4254. Macmillan, Canada. Number 400. 99 Yorkville Avenue. Toronto on M5R3K5. 416-963-8830. Fax, 416-923-4821. Madison Press Books. 1000 Yonge Street. Number 303. Toronto, on M4W2K2. 416-923-5027. MadisonPressBooks.com. Malcolm Lester Books. 25 Isabella St. Toronto on M4Y1M7. 416-944-3634. Fax, 416-944-3122. Maple Tree Press. 1 Front Street East. Number 200. Toronto, on M5E1B3. 416-304-0702. Fax, 416-304-0525. info@mapletreepress.com. mapletreepress.com. Children's Crafts and Education. Marcus Books. Pop 327. Queensville, on Loggle Row. 905-478-2201. Fax, 905-478-8338. Maritimes Arts Projects Productions. Box 596, Station A. Fredericton, NBE3B5A6. 506-454-5127. Fax, 506-454-5127. jblades@nbnet.nb.ca. MacArthur Company Publishing. 322 King Street West. Number 402. Toronto, on M5V1J2. 416-408-4007. Fax, 416-408-4081. info@macarthur-co.com. mcarthur-co.com. Variety. McClelland Stewart Ltd. 481 University Avenue. Number 900. Toronto, on M5G2E9. 416-598-1114. Fax, 416-598-7764. McClelland.com. Variety. McGill Queen's University Press. McGill University. 3430 McTavish Street. Montreal, QCH3A1X9. 514-398-3750. Fax, 514-398-4333. mqup@mqup.mcgill.ca. mcgill.ca/mqup. Canadian Scholarly Works. McGraw-Hill Ryerson Limited. The McGraw-Hill Companies. 300 Water St. Whitby, on L1N9B6. 905-430-5000. Fax, 905-430-5044. McGrawhill.ca. Meckler Deal, Publishers. 237 Prospect St. South. Hamilton, on L8M2Z6. 905-312-1779. Fax, 905-312-8285. mecklerdeal@globalsurvey.net. Mercury Press. 22 Prince Rupert Avenue. Toronto on M6P2A7. 416-531-4338. Fax, 416-531-0765. Micromedia ProQuest. 20 Victoria Street. Toronto, on M5C2N8. 416-362-5211. Fax, 416-362-6161. Sabra m@micromedia.ca. micromedia.ca. Big Information Books. Moose Enterprise Book. And Theatre Play Publicy. 684 Walls Road. Salt Ste. Marie, on P6A5K6. 705-779-3331. Fax, 705-779-3331. Moose Enterprises @on.iben.com. Help new writers. Morgaine House. POG 1027. Point Claire, QCH9S4H9. Kamouraska 3 at Simpatico. CA. Literary. Mosaic Press. 1252 Spears Road. Units I2. Oakville, on L6L5N9. 905-825-2130. Fax, 905-825-2130. Mosaic Press @on.iben.com. mosaic-press.com. Variety. Multicultural Books. 6311 Gilbert Road. Number 307. Richmond, BC V7C3V7. TheHypertexts.com. Napoleon Publishing / Rendezvous Press. 178 Willowdale Avenue. Number 201. Toronto, on M2N4Y8. 416-730-9052. Fax, 416-730-8096. NapoleonPublishing.com. Children's, Canadian Crime Fiction. Natural Heritage Books. POB STN. O. Toronto, on M4A2M8. 416-694-7907. Fax, 416-690-0819. info@naturalheritage.ebooks.com. naturalheritage.ebooks.com. Heritage, Natural History. New World Publishing. epub 36075. Halifax, NSB 3J3S9. 902-576-2055. Fax, 902-576-2095. Editor at newworldpublishing.com. newworldpublishing.com. Books that help people. New Star Books. Commercial Drive. Number 107. Vancouver, BC VE8. 604-738-9429. Fax, 604-738-9332. info@newstarbooks.com. newstarbooks.com. Social Issues. New Society Publishers. epub 189. Gabriola Island, BC V0RIXO. 250-247-9737. Fax, 250-247-7471. infonewsociety.c0m. newsociety.com. Ecology, Social Change. Newest Publishers Ltd. Number 201. 8540 109th St. Edmonton, UB T6GLE6. 403-432-9427. Fax, 403-433-3179. Newest at planet.en.net. Western Canadian authors only. Newest Publishing. 8540 109th Street. Number 201. Edmonton, UB T6GRE6. 780-432-9427. Fax, 780-433-3179. info@newestpress.com. newestpress.com. Literary, Western Canadian authors. Nimbus Publishing. 3731 Mackintosh Street. epub 9166. Halifax, NSB 3K5M8. 902-455-5956. Fax, 902-455-5440. smcintyre@nimbus.ns.ca. nimbus.ns.ca. Atlantic Canada Themes. Norbury Publishing. 15838 Shaws Creek Road. Terracotta, on Lop LNO. 905-838-2800. Fax, 905-838-0214. Norbury@norbury.com. norbury.com. Northstone Publishing. 9025 Jim Bailey Road. Kelowna, BC V4V1R2. 250-766-2778. Fax, 250-766-2736. info@woodlake.com. joinhands.com. Books that help people. Novelis. St. Paul University. 223 Main Street. Ottawa, on KISS 1C4. 613-236-1393. Fax, 613-751-4020. usdpaul.ca. enovalis.ca. Religious. Oberon Press. 350 Sparks Street. Number 400. Ottawa, on KIR7S8. 613-238-3275. Fax, 613-238-3275. simpiatico.ca/Oberon. Literary. Owalichan Books. epub 10. Lanceville, BC V0R2HO. 250-390-4839. Fax, 250-390-4839. owalichan@island.net. owalichan.com. Literary. Orca Book Publishers. POG 5626, STA. B. Victoria, BC V8R6S4. 250-380-1229. Fax, 250-380-1892. orca@orcabook.com. orcabook.com. Children's, Teen. Owl Books. 179, John St. Number 500. Toronto, on M5T3G5. Fax, 416-340-9769. owlbooks@owl.on.ca. owl.on.ca. Children's Books. Oxford University Press. 70 Winford Drive. Don Mills, on M3C1J9. 416-441-2941. Fax, 416-444-0427. oup.com/ca. Canadian Culture. Pacific Educational Press. Faculty of Education. University of British Columbia. Vancouver, BC V6T1Z4. Fax, 604-822-6603. C. Edwards@interchange.ubc.ca. ubc.ca. Peddler Press. POG 26, STN. P. Toronto, on M5S2S6. 416-534-2011. Fax, 416-535-9677. peddlerpress.com. Canadian Culture. Pemmican Publications Inc. Henry Avenue. Winnipeg, MBR3B0J7. 204-589-6346. Fax, 204-589-2063. pemmicanpublications@hotmail.com. pemmican.mb.ca. Manitoba Métis Writers. Penguin Books Canada No. 300. 10 Alcorn Avenue. Toronto on M4V3B2, 416, 925-2249 FAX, 416, 925-00668 PENGUIN.ca. Penumbra PRESS 1225 Potter Drive. Manotick on K4M1C9. 613-692-5590. Fax, 613-692-5589. penumbrapress.com. Native Literature. Playwrights Canada Press. 215 Spadina Avenue. Number 230. Toronto, on M5T2C7. 416-703-0013 Fax, 416-408-3402. playwrightscanada.com. puc.ca. Polar Bear Press. 35 Prince Andrew Place. Toronto, on M3C2H2. 416-449-4000. Fax, 416-449-9924. Ontario History and Culture. Polestar PRESS 8680 Cambie ST. Vancouver, BC V6P6M9, 604, 323 71000 FAX, 604, 323, 2600. Polestar Book Publishers. POG 5238, Station B. Victoria, BC V8R6N4. 250-361-9718. Fax, 250-361-9738. mypage.direct.ca/p/polestar. Portage Main Press. 318 McDermott Avenue. Number 100. Winnipeg, MBR3A082. 204-987-3500. Fax, 204-947-0080. Books at portageandmainpress.com. portageandmainpress.com. Children's Educational. Porthole Press Ltd. 2832 Heath Drive, Victoria, BC V9A2J5. 250-386-7458. Fax, 250-386-7458. Pottersfield Press. 83 Leslie Road, East Lawrencetown, NSB2ZIP8. PottersfieldPress.com. Atlantic Canada. Prentice Hall Canada. 1870 Birchmount Road, Scarborough on M1P2J7. 416-293-3621. Fax, 416-299-2540. phdonata.com. Press Gang Publishers. 1723 Grant St. Vancouver BC V5L2Y6. 604-251-3315. Fax, 604-251-3329. Pressgang.bc.ca. Feminist. Ptarmigan Press. 1372 16th Avenue, Campbell River, BC V9W2E1. 250-286-0878. Fax, 250-286-9749. info@caskgraphics.com. ptarmiganpress.com. caskgraphics.com. Local Culture, Cookbooks. Raincoast Books. 8680 Cambie St. Vancouver, BC V6P6M9. 604-323-7100. Fax, 604-323-2600. info@raincoast.com. raincoast.com. Variety. Random House Canada. 1 Toronto Street, Number 300. Toronto, on M5C2V6. 416-364-4449. Fax, 416-364-6863. randomhouse.ca. Variety. Red Deer Press. 2500 University Drive Northwest, MB813. Calgary, UB T2N1N4. 403-220-4334. Fax, 403-210-8191. rdp@ucalgary.ca. reditorpress.com. Literary. Red Deer Press. Box 5005. 56th of A 32nd St. Red Deer, UB T4N5H5. 403-342-3321. Fax, 403-357-3639 vmix@admin.rdc.ub.ca. rdc.ab.ca. Children's. Read More Books Inc. 18228 to 102 Ave. Edmonton, UB T5S1S7. 780-444-0912. Fax, 780-444-0933. Read more at compusmart.ub.ca. readmore.com. Robin Brass Studio. 10 Blantyre Avenue, Toronto, on Min 2R4. 416-698-5848. Fax, 416-698-2120. rbrass@simpiatico.ca. rbstudiobooks.com. History. Rocky Mountain Books. 4 Spruce Center Southwest, Calgary, UB T3C3B3. 403-249-9490. Fax, 403-249-2968. rmbooks.com. Outdoor Recreational. Ronsdale Press. 3350 21st Avenue, Vancouver BC V6S1G7. 604-738-4688. Fax, 604-731-4548. RonsdalePress.com. Literary, Children's Literature. Roseway Publishing Co. Ltd. RR Number 1. Lockaport, NSB 0T ILO. 902-656-2223. Fax, 902-656-2223. RosewayPublishing.com. Nova Scotian Authors. Royal BC Museum Publishing. 675 Belleville Street, Victoria, BC V8W9W2. 250-387-2478. Fax, 250-952-6825. royalbcmuseum.bc.ca. Scholarly. Rubicon Publishing. 595 Argus Road, Oakville, on L6J3J4. 905-849-8777. Fax, 905-849-7579. Contact at rubiconpublishing.com. rubiconpublishing.com. Educational. Saxon House Canada. POB 6947, STA. A. Toronto, on M5WIX6. 416-488-7171. Fax, 416-488-2989. Variety. Scholastic Canada. 175 Hillmount Road, Markham on L6CLZ7. 800-387-4944. 905-887-7323. Fax, 905-887-3643. Scholastic.ca. scholastic.ca/guideline.html. Second Story Press. Bathurst Street, number 301. Toronto, on M5S2R4. 416-537-7850. Fax, 416-537-0588. info@secondstorypress.ca. secondstonypress.ca. Women's Press, Women's and Children's Books. Self-Counsel Press. 1481 Charlotte Road, North Vancouver, BC V7J1H1. 604-986-3366. Fax, 604-986-3947. Editor at self-counsel.com. self-counsel.com. How to Books. Shoreline. 23 STEN. STEN de Bellevue, QCH9X IL. 514-457-5733. Fax, 514-457-5733. Bookline at total.net. Totalnet/bookline. Shorelinepress.ca. Biographies. Signature Editions. POG 206, RPO Corridon. Winnipeg, MBR3M3S7. 204-779-7803. Fax, 204-779-6970. Signature at allstream.net. signatoре-editions.com. Literary. Skyfood Technical. 283 McAlpine Avenue South, Welland, on L3B1T8. 905-708-1784. skyfoot-technical.nu. Smart Cookie Publishing. 2017 West 15th Avenue, number 4. Vancouver, BC V6J2L4. Smart COOK ebooks at yahoo.ca. webspotter.com/smartcookie. Zines, Unusual Books. Somerville House Books. Number 5000. 3080 Yonge St. Toronto on M4N3N1. 416-488-5938. Fax, 416-488-5938. 5506. Sombooks.com. Sono NIS Press. POB 5550, STN. B. Victoria BC B8R 684. 250-598-7807. Fax, 250-598-7866. islandnet.com/sononis. Sound and Vision Publishing Limited. 359 Riverdale Avenue, Toronto, on M4J1A4. 416-465-2828. Fax, 416-465-0755. Music books at soundanvision.com. soundanvision.com. Stoddard Publishing Co. 34 Les Mill Road, North York on M3B2T6. 416-445-3333. Fax, 416-445-5967. genpub.com/Stoddard. Talon Books. Number 104. 3100 Production Way, Burnaby BC V5A4R4. 604-444-4889. Fax, 604-444-4119. Talon@pink.com. talonbooks.com. Variety. The Mercury Press. 22 Prince Rupert Avenue, Toronto, on M6P2A7. themercurypress.com. The Frederick Harris Music Co. 86 McLaughlin Road, Number 1. Mississauga, on L5R1B8. 905-501-1595. Fax, 905-501-0929. FHMC@frederickharrismusic.com. frederickharrismusic.com. Music books. The Dundon Group. 8 Market Street, Number 200. Toronto, on M5EIM6. 416-214-5544. Fax, 416-214-5556. info@dundon.com. dundon.com. Canadian Culture. The Porcupine's Quill. 68 Main Street, Erin, on Knob ITO. 519-833-9158. Fax, 9-833-9845. pql@centax.net. centax.net/pql. Literary. The Althouse Press. University of Western Ontario. Faculty of Education. 1137 Western Road, London, on N6G1G7. 519-661-2096. Fax, 519-661-3833. press@julian.uwo.ca. uwo.ca/edu/press. Thetis Books. Lot 45. Green Mountain Road, RR. Number 2. Site 50, Comp 8. Penticton, BC V2A6J7. 250-493-7181. Fax, 250-493-5302. thetusbooks@vip.net. thetusbooks.ca. Aboriginal. Thistledown Press. 633 Main St. Saskatoon SKS 7H0J8. 306-244-1722. Fax, 306-244-1762. thistledown.sk.ca. Literary. Thomas Allen Publishers. 145 Front Street East, Number 209. Toronto, on M5A1E3. 416-361-0233. Fax, 416-203-2773. tap@talon.com. thomas-allen.com. Literary Fiction and Non-Fiction. Thomas Allen Publishers. 145 Front Street East Suite 209. Toronto, Ontario M5A1E3. thomas-allen.com. Thompson Educational Publishing Inc. 14 Ripley Avenue. Number 104. Toronto, on M6S3N9. 416-766-2763. Fax, 416-766-0398. Publisher at thompsonbooks.com. thompsonbooks.com. Touchwood Editions. Simcoe Street. Number 6. Victoria, BC V8 VL. 250-360-0829. Fax, 250-385-0829. Touchwood Detians at shaw.ca. touchwooddetians.com. Non-fiction relevant to BC. Trilobite Press. 1486 Willowdown Road. Oakville, on L6L1X3. 905-847-7366. Fax, 905-847-3258. Admin at successatschool.com. successatschool.com. Tundra Books. Number 900. 481 University Avenue. Toronto on M5G2E9. 416-598-4786. Fax, 416-598-0247. tundrabooks.com. Children's Books. Turnstone Press. Number 607. 100 Arthur St. Winnipeg, MBR3BLH3. 204-947-1555. Fax, 204-942-1555. turnstonepress.com. Literary. UBC Press. 2029 West Mall. Vancouver, BC V6T1Z2. 604-822-5959. Fax, 604-822-6083. info@ubcapress.ca. ubcapress.ca. Non-fiction, academic. Ulysses Travel Guides. 4176 St. Denis. Montreal, QCH2W2M5. 514-843-9882. Fax, 514-843-9448. info@ulysses.ca. ulyssesguides.ca. Travel and outdoor guides for Canadians. United Church Publishing House. 3250 Bloor Street West. Number 300. Toronto, on M8X2Y4. 416-231-5931. Fax, 416-231-3103. united-church.ca. Religious. University College of Cape Breton Press. epub 5300. Sydney, NS BIP 6L2. 902-563-1955. Fax, 902-563-1177. UCCB Press at uccb.ca. uccbpress.ca. Literature of Cape Breton. University of Alberta Press. 141 Athabasca Hall. Edmonton, UB T6G2E8. 780-492-3662. Fax, 780-492-0719. uap.ualberta.ca. Scholarly, Western Canadian. University of Calgary Press. 2500 University Drive Northwest. Calgary, UB T2N1N4. 403-220-7578. Fax, 403-282-0085. whildebrucalgary.ca. uofcapress.com. University of Ottawa Press. 542 King Edward. Ottawa, on Kin 6N5. 613-562-5246. Fax, 613-562-5247. Press at uottawa.ca. uopress.uottawa.ca. University of Manitoba Press. 301 St. John's College Winnipeg, MBR3T2M5. 204, -9495. Fax, 204-474-7566. umanitoba.ca/UOFM Press. Academic, Western Canadian Themes. University of Toronto Press. St. Mary Street. Number 700. Toronto, on M4Y2W8. 416-978-2239. Fax, 416-978-4738. Publishing at utpress.utoronto.ca. library.utoronto.ca/utpress/publish/publish.htm. Scholarly. Vanwell Publishing Limited. 1 Northrop Crescent. POG 2131. St. Catharines, on L2M6P5. 905-937-3100. Fax, 905-937-1760. Editor at vanwell.com. vanwell.com. Naval and Aviation Books. Vehicule Press. POG 125. Place du Parc Station. Montreal, QCH2W2M9. 514-844-6073. Fax, 514-844-7543. Vehiculepress.com. VP at vehiculepress.com. Vehiculepress.com. Social History. Wall Emerson, Inc. 6 O'Connor Drive. Toronto, on M4K2KI. 416-467-8685. Fax, 416-696-2460. Wall at wallbooks.com. wallbooks.com. Whitecap Books Ltd. 351 Lynn Avenue. North Vancouver, BC V7J2C4. 604-980-9852. Fax, 604-980-8197. Whitecap.ca. Alfred Laurier University Press. 75 University Avenue West. Waterloo, on N2L3C5. 519-884-0710. Fax, 519-725-1399. Press at wlu.ca. press.wlu.ca. wlupress.wlu.ca. Scholarly. Walsick and Wynne Publishers. 192 Spadina Avenue. Number 315. Toronto, on M5T2C2. 416-603-3085. Fax, 416-603-9935. jwolsaquin at rogers.com. poets.ca/wolsaquin. Poetry. Women's Press. 180 Bloor Street West. Number 801. Toronto, on M5S2V6. 416-929-2774. Fax, 416-929-1926. A prince at csbi.org. womenspress.ca. Feminist. Wers Publishing, Ltd. 895 Macmillan Avenue. Winnipeg, MBR3M0T2. 204-453-7429. XYZ Publishing. POG 250. Lanceville, BC V0R2H. 250-390-2352. Fax, 250-390-2329. xyzedit.shaw.ca. xyzedit.qc.ca. xyzedit.com. Literary. York Press Ltd. 152 Boardwalk Drive, Toronto, on M4L3X4. York Press at simpiatico.ca. simpiatico.ca/York Press. Chapter 3. A Canadian Reading Guide. Canadian Children's Reading Websites. abc-canada.org/fld-jaf/parfam.html. benwix.com. canadianparents.com. freedomtoriad.ca. hackmatack.ca. hrsdc.gc.ca/en/gateways/nav/top_nav/progar. m/nls.shtml, National Literacy Program Canada. kidscanpress.ca. library.ns.ca. lobsterpress.com. magiceys.com/books/index.html. puffinbooks.ca. scholastic.ca. starfall.com. tattletales.ca. ucalgary.ca/dkbrown/index.html, Children's Literature Guide. ucalgary.ca/dkbrown/lists.html, Best Books List. whitecap.ca. woozile.com. Canadian Reading Websites. nald.ca, National Adult Literacy Database. familyliteracyday.ca. razorreader.com. literacyplus.ca/skilldev/brain_boosters.htm, the Canadian Literacy Enhancement Society. literacyplus.ca, the Canadian Literacy Enhancement Society. razorreader.com, 866 637 read. literacy.ca. abc-canada.org/fld-jaf/parfam.html. benwix.com. canadianparents.com. freedomtoriad.ca. hackmatack.ca. hrsdc.gc.ca/en/gateways/nav/top_nav/progar. m/nls.shtml, National Literacy Program Canada. kidscanpress.ca. library.ns.ca. lobsterpress.com. magiceys.com/books/index.html. puffinbooks.ca. scholastic.ca. starfall.com. tattletales.ca. ucalgary.ca/dkbrown/index.html, Children's Literature Guide. ucalgary.ca/dkbrown/lists.html, Best Books List. whitecap.ca. woozile.com. readtome.ca. Chapter 4. A Canada Book Website Guide. Major Canadian book websites. cbabook.org. findabookstore.ca. chapters.indigo.ca. indigo.ca, bookstore chain. atlanticbookawards.ca. book-titles.ca. officemax.ca/subjectresults.asp. bookclubcanada.com. ca.ya/countries/canada/business_economy/companies/books/shopping_and_services/booksellers. canauthors.org. cbabook.org, booksellers. poets.ca. pubcouncil.ca, Publisher Council. pwac.ca, Periodical Writers Association. writersguildofcanada.com. Canadian book websites. thewordonthestreet.ca. authortracker.ca, HarperCollins authors. Cabot Trail Writers Festival.com, Cape Breton, NS. book-ca.com. aaronbooks.com. Actualization.com. admin.acadiau.ca/ansel/bookstore.hdm, Amazon.ca. Codeword.ca. kevinwong.ca. interchange.ubc.ca. writersfest.bc.ca. anansi.ca. arsenalpulp.com. atlanticpublishers.ca. audiobookclub.com. banffbooks.com. bibelary.qc.ca. bookclubcanada.com. bookroom.ca, 800-387-2665, Halifax. bookstore.laurentian.ca. bookstore.mun.ca, Memorial U, NF. bookstore.ubc.ca. bookstore.uwaterloo.ca/bookstore. booktelevision.com. brickmag.com. ca.cch.com, 800-268-4522. canadianbookclubs.com. canadianbound.com. canadabookday.com. canadianpoetryassociation.com. canauthors.org. carleton.ca/cu press. cbbag.ca, bookbinders and book artists. cbc.ca/bookclub. cbc.ca/nxnw/lostbooks.html, forgotten childhood books. cppress.ca, Cape Breton University Press. chapters.ca, bookstore. chapterglobe.com. chbooks.com. cmorin.qc.ca. compusmart.ab.ca/icdr. cook-book.com. creativebookpublishing.ca. crimewriterscanada.com. crownpub.bc.ca/cat_view.cgi/cp.01. ctlf.ca, Canterbury Tales Literary Festivals, St. John, NB. culturalhrc.ca. cvbookstore.com. demilitech.com, Technical Books. dhaudio.com. direct-internet.net/stories. editors.ca. moll.net merchant.net/cba. fedpubs.com, Government Publications. fernwoodbooks.ca. fitzhenry.ca. fry.ca, Bilingual Literary Festival. gardencrazy.com. giftsforreaders.ca. greenwood.com. halifaxwritersfest.ca. handbook.com, computer/internet books. harpercanada.com. indigo.ca, bookstore. istar.ca/kidsbook. idmb.com. forpress.com, intervarsity press. keyporter.com. lakeheadu.ca/bookstore/home.html. lawbookstores.com. librarisboyer.qc.ca. librarychamplain.com. mcclelland.com. mcgrawhill.ca. macmullenpublishers.com, Montreal. mhs.com. mqup.ca. nsi-ins.ca. nt.net/cwj, Canadian Writers Journal. nwpassages.com. pencanada.ca, poets, essayists, novelists. penguin.ca. phcanada.com. playwrightscanada.com. poets.ca. powerangbooks.com. pressgang.bc.ca. publications.pwgsc.gc.ca, publications the government puts together in several subjects and sells to the public. pwac.ca, periodical writers. random.ca. renewfbooks.com. shorewood.bc.ca/mall-writers, links. sydneybooktown.com. skWriter.com, Saskatchewan. swifty.com/books6. Swifty.com/CWC, Crime Writers Canada. Swifty.com/TWC. theglerprize.org. Thuardonthestreet.ca. tnrdlib.bc.ca/rr.html. umanitoba.ca/bookstore. umanitoba.ca/news/publications/uofmpress/pressindex.html. unbs.ca/bookstore, St. John, NB. utpress.utoronto.ca, 800-667-0892, U of Toronto Press. uwo.ca/bookstore. westminsterbooks.com, NB. wiley.com/products/worldwide/Canada. wilsonloeffler.com, Montreal. wlu.ca/www.book. yukonweb.com/max. A list of Canadian book websites at blog.feedspot.com/Canadian_book_bloggers. 49thshelf.com/blog. ecifi.ca. alexandrawolf.ca. amysbookreviews.wordpress.com. angelic-reviews.blogspot.com. asplendidmessylife.com. a tapestry of words.blogspot.com. atlanticbookstoday.ca. authorleandyke.blogspot.com. bionicbookwormblog.wordpress.com. blog.alquinzosietti.com. blog.booksandladders.co.uk. bookcenter.ca. bookclub9.blogspot.com. bookmindset.com. booknetcanada.ca/blog. bookreviewsandmore.ca. booksandstuff-kstar.blogspot.com. bookshipper.blogspot.com. booksonbeechwood.ca/category/reviews. bought-books.blogspot.com. breakevenbooks.com. canadianbookaddict.blogspot.com. canadianbookblogger.org. canadianbookreview.wordpress.com. canadianbookaddict.by-by-night.blogspot.com. candidcover.net. canlitforlittlecanadians.blogspot.com. caseythecanadianlaybrarian.com. cdnbookworm.blogspot.com. challies.com/category/book-reviews. chrisbookorama.com. cluesanreviews.wordpress.com. consumedbyinc.ca. crazy-bookworm.com. deadenfollies.com. digitalbookgirl.com/blog. fallingglitters.ca. fictionophile.com. goodreports.net. indexdiarius.blogspot.com. jamesdateryauthor.com. jetherhainreads.com. jwmartin.com/category/reviews/books. libraryofcleanreads.com. literary-thunderbay.blogspot.com. luanne-abookwormsworld.blogspot.com. miramichireader.ca. moonlightgleam.com. mtlreviewofbooks.ca. mysteriesandmore.blogspot.com. nutsaboutbooks.ca/latest-offerings. ohanareads.blogspot.com. olivialavery.com. ottawareviewofbooks.com. picklemethis.com. prairiefire.ca/category/book-review. quillandquire.com/review. rubbydreads.ca. reading-in-bed.com. reading.com. ruthlatta.blogspot.com. schatjessshelves.blogspot.com. sci-why.blogspot.com. sci-fi-fanletter.blogspot.com. sfcanada.org. speculatingcanada.ca. thecaptivereader.com. TrishaJenReads.com, TundraBooks.com, What'sBetterThanBooks.com, WinnipegPubLibrary.wordpress.com, WordsPagesBooks.blog/category/reviews, WriterReads.wordpress.com, ExpressReads.com. A list of Canadian book news websites at feedspot.com/news/Canadian_book. Number book review. At Saudakezes. At 37 Inkbooks. At Simons Husterksa. At Anne-Marie_Walker. At Sourcebooks Casa. 49thshelf.com, discover Canadian books. 49thshelf.com. Quill and Quire Book Review. quillandquire.com. BookNet Canada. booknetcanada.ca. The Miramichi Reader. miramichireader.ca. Tim Challies, Book Reviews. Challies.com. Fictionophile, Fiction Book Reviews. fictionophile.wordpress.com. Break-Even Books. breakevenbooks.com. Shelves. schatjessshelves.blogspot.com. Bionic Bookworm. bionicbookwormblog.wordpress.com. Amy's Book Review Blog. amysbookreviews.wordpress.com. A Bookworm's World. LUANNE-ABOOKWORMSWORLD.blogspot.com. Falling Letters. fallingletters.ca. CanLit for Little Canadians. canlitforlittlecanadians.blogspot.com. Mysteries and More from Saskatchewan. mysteriesandmore.blogspot.com. Sci-Fi Fan Letter. sci-fifanletter.blogspot.com. Dead End Follies. deadendfollies.com. Pickle Me This. picklemethis.com. What's Better Than Books? what'sbetterthanbooks.com. The Book Mindset. bookmindset.com. Reader's Salon. winnipegpublibrary.wordpress.com.